Hello everyone, my name is Nomique. I do live looping videos and tutorials apparently, and right now I'm going to break down for you how I made my latest live looping video entitled Let Me Out. So first thing first, I wanted to talk about my setup. I'm not affiliated to any of the companies, the products of which I'm using in this video. I simply use them because I like them. I'm using pretty basic setup and not just new stuff, but I also encourage you not to rely only on very new materials, because you can use, for example, older outboard items which work very well. So what I'm using is a Shure SM7B. Which goes directly into Universal Audio Apollo Twin Duo, and that goes into 16-inch MacBook Pro 2019 edition. As for synths, I'm using an Arturia Minilab, which is a 2-octave MIDI keyboard, and I'm also using a Novation Launchpad, which I'm using mainly for drums and for launching clips. Of course, I also have my guitar, which is a Fender Stratocaster. So this is the basic setup. I'm also going to talk to you about what we're using for recording the videos, because we're also using it in a DIY fashion with a friend of mine. We're using 2 cameras, an iPhone, and very basic lighting, what I have in my apartment. And we have a very, very nice view out there, of course. Let Me Out was shot here at my balcony, and I'm going to break down for you how this track is made up. And it is basically a very simple song which uses only vocals, guitar, 1 drum rack in Ableton, an ARP, so a synth, and a bass, and some post-production, of course, which I'm going to show you. Basically, if you take a look at the project itself, you already see the way how it was recorded. So you see the actual final recording that I think is the final, actually, that I made on the terrace, which sounds like this. Let me out, clear the air, play your bar, I don't care. Let me out, clear the air, play your bar, I don't care. And now I wanted to show you how I recorded it and what are the things that I'm doing when I'm live looping the song. So let's start at the vocals. As I already told you, I'm using an Apollo Twin Duo, which I think is pretty much the heart and soul of the whole production. It's a very, very good audio interface. It's pretty much an industry standard for home studios, at least. And I'm controlling the Universal Audio from the native software. And you already see the setup here. Actually, what we have is 610B preamp. There are certain preamps that you can use at Universal Audio, like unison plugins, which means that you pretty much get the same effect as if you would be using the actual hardware. And of course, this is a classic UAD preamp, and I really love the sound. The setting is pretty much high gain, so I'm using +10 gain that you see here. I'm not messing around with the EQ at the moment. So this is what I hear when I speak and when I record. As you can see here at the Universal Audio software, you can also add inserts at your tracks. I have an auto tune just in case. I also have a Pultec EQ inserted. Right now it's on, so let me show you the difference. So this is with the Pultec. This is without the Pultec, so there is quite a considerable amount of boost at 8 kHz. It might be even a bit too much. This is what I used for the recording, but let me take it down a notch. And there is some boost at 100 hertz as well, and a very subtle attenuation. Then after the Pultec EQ, I'm using a Teletronics LA2A, which is also a standard. I'm using it's at a moderately low gain and just some peak reduction, but it could be less. This is now without any reduction. This is at this level, which is good for singing, I think. So if I sing "Let Me Out," I think it's good for the sake of the recording. Actually, I can choose between recording it and not recording it. If I'm pressing this button right here, so this blue one, now everything is getting recording into the DAW, but I don't want to record all the everything that I have, because I wanted to have some freedom in processing and editing the signal. The actual song begins with an ARP, a very basic ARP that you can see here. This is how it sounds. It's called Ambient Bells. I think it's one of the presets from the Ableton packs. If you have Ableton Live, you have the Synth Essentials, which is free to download, and this is a preset that I found over there. And I really encourage you to, well, not just to buy new plugins all the time, but also to check out what you actually have on your computer, because the Ableton Live packs, the factory packs, I think are just wonderful. So you can do wonders with it. So this is the arpeggiator that I'm using. This is how it sounds like an actual arpeggio. I did some very basic, as you can see here, some very basic EQing and some OTT for giving it a bit of crisp. Without the OTT, it's like this. With the OTT, like this. And there is a filter that I'm... this is not... And it opens up a bit, and I think it's a good song starter. So it also gives me the rhythm if I do it this way, and I can slowly add the filter, and then it opens up a bit and gives you a bit more a bit more openness and a bit wider sound. So this is how the song starts, and I needed this in order to record the vocals in the song. So we're starting with an ARP. Here we go. Now we recorded the 4-bar loop. I'm going to record the 3-part vocal part. Here we go. Let me out, play your part. Next. Let me out, play your part. Next. Let me out, play your part. Next. Let me out, play your part. So this is the basic idea, and this is how the whole song starts. And then come the drums, which I also operate through the Launchpad. You have a user mode here at the Innovation Launchpad, and in the user mode, you can program drums. As you already hear, I have a drum kit loaded up. This is what it looks like. So you can see this is a basic drum rack, and I loaded up, as you can see, 5 samples altogether. One is a kick. It's a kick by Cymatics. Then we have one snare and another snare. I love using 2 types of snare. So this is the main one, and this is a rim shot type of snare. And then we have 2 snaps. As you can see here, I'm panning them left and right. Let me do it from the beginning, and then you can see how it works. So here we go. Let me out, play your part. Let me out, Let me out, play your part. Let me out. Now I'm switching to user mode and record the drums. Here we go. Let me out, play your part. Let me out, play your part. This was not the best playing in the bird that you could imagine in terms of the drums, so when going actually live you have to be really careful to be on point. I'm not using any quantize for the drums, and it would be very, very difficult to switch between session mode and user mode. That's why I'm triggering the whole drum recording here at the number 8 pad at the mini lab, so I can switch between the two keyboards. So the rest is pretty easy. So we of course we have a bass. The bass is right here. It's actually two tracks. So bass sound number 1. As you can hear, it's like a Reese bass in a way. It has very narrow unison, so if I would detune it, it would be much more wobbly. This is a very, very basic sound, and this other sound moves around a bit, and I'm also, as you can see, the wavetable position is controlled by the first LFO, and of course we have another LFO which very slightly controls the cutoff. I add multiband dynamics, then glue compressor, then I beef it up with a UAD Neve 1073. I think it really adds to the sound. A bit of warmth, and then after the UAD, a bit of saturation, and I add some movement with auto pan, which adds this SYNTH type of pump. The next bass, actually it's a saturated version of the same sound. I have the same, so I pretty much do the same thing. As you see, the auto pan is a bit different, and the amp is what makes the difference. The way how I'm using it, it's very, very basic processing. After the UAD, I'm killing pretty much everything under. So the EQ I'm using is very, very much cutting, pretty much just cutting off the mids and the lows. And I'm adding this beautiful plugin, which is a black hole. I really love the sound. Just listen how much depth you can have to any sound. Let me out, clear the air, play your part, I don't care. I have a waves tune. I like it this way when I'm going live, but yeah, you know, it's a way of preference. I can sing it without a waves tune, but I like to have it this way because then I don't have to retake it 10 times. I'm rolling off the lows. I'm giving it some body with the pool tech, some edge with the OTT, some brew, actually some stereo fill with the MICROSHIFT, and a plate reverb. And it's pretty much the same for all 3 vocal tracks. It's just the EQ that's not the same. So basically that's how the song is made up. It's very basic, very simple. I just have vocals, guitar, 2 synths, an ARP and a bass and the drums, and it's all controlled here from the Novation Launchpad. And there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, which is how I made the video, because it's also absolutely homemade and you can do it yourself. I just opened up the project. Now we're in Premiere Pro, and as you can see here in the project, it's just one file because it was a single shot. I have the final master here, and the only thing that I'm doing is, as you can see here in the right, is some very basic correction for the colors. Without it, it would look like this. And I have also, yeah, so this is what I had. I used a pretty aggressive LUT and then some very basic correction to make it look even better. If you use Premiere Pro or any other video editing software, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to do something very, very similar with these. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you managed to take away something from it. Try to make as much music as you can, and see you in the next video. Cheers!